Good evening and welcome everyone. We would love to welcome everyone that's here with us today. I know that we have people from all across the United States, from multiple states logging in and hearing the wonderful information that we're going to be sharing with you guys. We believe that you will be very impressed with what you will hear and learn here with us today. And so I do want to ask you a favor before we go ahead and get started. Do us a favor, grab a notebook, grab a pen. You're going to be learning some really, really good stuff here with us today. And so I do want to introduce myself. My name is Arlene Pineda, and I am out from Phoenix, Arizona. And I've been with this company for 6 years now. I originally got started out in the Bay Area, and then my husband and I were able to expand out. I actually come from having absolutely no experience with this company. I was going to school full time. I had a couple of part-time jobs with retail and restaurant industry. And I was able, thank goodness, this company was able to provide a platform that allowed my husband and I within the last couple of years to build a company of our own within this company. And we've been able to help out so many families and do such great things. And it's been a great ride. And so today you will actually hear a powerful story about a company that was built more than 40 years ago. It was actually built with a vision to actually build a company that would dominate the financial industry, right? And at the time, it seemed like an impossible task, given the fact that there were thousands of financial companies in the marketplace. But within a couple of short years, our company actually grew to be in the top 1% of all broker-dealers all across North America in terms of rep size, right? And so to share that story here with you guys today, we have a great person that has not only added value to my husband and I, but him and his wife have actually added value and inspired hundreds of thousands, right? He comes from very humble beginnings. And one thing that I love about him is that he is the kind of person that was able to rise, from humble beginnings to being a multimillionaire in his early 30s. And within a couple of short years, with all of those accomplishments, what he then started to do was dedicate his entire life to adding value to others, right? And so we're one of the few people that he has been able to add value to. But like I mentioned, he adds value on a daily basis to hundreds and thousands of people. Him and his wife are a great example of you can have it all. They set a great example with building a business together as a family, in their family life, in their faith, in their fitness. And we're just proud to have him here today. He didn't only take time away from his busy schedule, but from his family and his business as well to be here with us today. And I believe that you will all be very impressed with the information that he will be giving you today. So I want to go ahead and hand it over to Mr. Paul Hart. Paul, are you here with us today?
I'm here. Thank you very much, Arlene.
Thank you. I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you for the introduction. Welcome, everybody. Whether you're getting this live right now or whether you're getting a recording of this and somebody forwarded you this tape, this is going to be a valuable 30 minutes. I don't know where you're at in your understanding of our business, but this is going to be a valuable 30 minutes for you, and this can absolutely change your life. So if we can bring up the slides. I've been in the company 15 years now, going on my 16th year. And as Arlene said, it's been a journey. And when I first came, I was not the right person. I wasn't working as an automotive mechanic. I was 24 years old. I was living with my father. I didn't own a bank account that was in my name, at least. And I had no idea about finances. But you know what? That was the reason why I did want to get started. And there's a lot of people that say, you know what? I don't know anything about money. This is going to be a valuable 30 minutes for you. I don't know anything about finances. I don't know anything about business. I don't know if I can do this. I'm stressed out right now. I don't have any time. We couldn't have found ourselves in a better situation to present solutions to the people with the turn of current events. And I hope, like I said, this presentation finds you in good health because we are finding ourselves in some challenging times. But no matter when you get this video, we're always finding ourselves in challenging times. But one thing that I found out is when there's tough times, tough people come out ahead and we get better. So what you're looking at is the Pyramid building in San Francisco. The Transamerica building was purchased by Aegon, and Aegon is our parent company, and they wanted to brand their name in the United States. Our parent company was based out of the Netherlands and they had no presence here. What we are is we're a world financial group, the company I'm presenting to you today, because we're just the regular people. I was a mechanic. We come from school teachers. We have engineers. We have doctors. We have business owners. We have all different walks of life that understand this message. We ask that you look at this through two sets of eyes. Number one, from a client's perspective. If you need this, make sure that you contact the individual that sent you this video or invited you here this evening. If you know somebody, this is an urgent situation. I heard take a situation of urgency, turn it into a state of an emergency, and there's never better time than the present. And we're here to show you with you who we are, what we do, but who we are, we come from strength. Aegon's been around well over a century. They're worth over $500 billion in assets, and we have stood the test of time, so we are going nowhere. If I can get to the next slide here. So what makes us unique is the power of choice, okay? And we don't represent our company to the clients like a lot of other companies out there. We represent our client to various companies. One of the things I found out is if I only represented one company, then I would probably have an agenda and I would have to sell something. Imagine if you walked into a Mercedes-Benz dealership, they would never tell you that a BMW is better. I love the fact that I represent a variety of companies so I can always tailor make what I do for my clients. There's a lot of companies out there that they take your size 10 foot, stick it into a size 8 shoe, and they say it's perfect. We tailor fit everything to our clients. You might have heard of Pacific Life, Prudential, Nationwide, Transamerica, and this is just to name a few. Franklin Templeton, Everest, Athene, Allianz, just to name a few. So these are A-rated companies, been around a long time, and these are the services that we provide to our customers. Some of the money menu, as you would say, 401ks. A lot of us have heard about a 401k, but we don't really understand how it is. We don't understand the inner workings of it. The days of working for a company for 30 years and then the company retires you are gone. So we actually have to start learning about money now. What about rollovers? A lot of us don't understand what that is, what our options are. We're here to share with you a brief introduction. Life insurance, long-term care, college plans, IUL, we'll briefly introduce that, fixed indexed annuities, a lot of solutions, executive bonus plans, legacy planning, wills and living trusts, and much more. We're here to talk about money. If I can have the next slide here. How many of us use money and how many of us know nothing about it? When I was growing up, you know, I was reading a book when I came into the company called Think and Grow Rich. And the premise behind Think and Grow Rich is you find a millionaire, you do exactly what he or she did, and you're likely to have what he or she has. So in other words, I got to find somebody who's been there and done it, and then I can do it. So if finding somebody who's in a position that we want to be in is the ticket to be successful, and they mentor you, assuming they didn't win the lottery, they didn't inherit the money, they did it legally, honestly, and ethically. If they did that is the way to win. Who are the first people that we learn about money from? Who did you learn about money from growing up? Again, the answer may be parents, but we come from great families, hardworking families, God-fearing families, you know, honest, you know, just strong people. But a lot of us didn't understand about money. So where can I go to get an education about money? You're in for a treat these next 30 minutes. However, we want to get together and discuss it a little bit more. Our motto is no family left behind. One of the reasons we never knew about money, because nobody ever came to us. Nobody ever invited my father or my family to a presentation because we didn't have any money. So what if you're learning about money from somebody who doesn't know anything about money? Is it possible to give what you don't have? Is it possible to teach what we don't know? So we learn the best. And in my opinion, the values, the ethics that came from a lot of my family is more important than money. But when it came to advancing economically, I had to learn something different. I went to college. I was going to San Jose State for digital media and animation. I never learned anything about taxes, how to purchase a home, how interest rates work, anything. No family left behind. Who's family A? That's 95% of America. They have a job, they're just getting by, they're in the rat race, they're living paycheck to paycheck. We want to elevate people to family B, where they're actually winning. Rather than making a living, they're making a life. Wouldn't that be a great thing where we can actually, our golden years are actually golden. So when we've sacrificed all this time away from our family, we get a chance to actually retire. That's not happening nowadays. As you see in the bottom, it says most people don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan. Let's go to the next slide. Absolutely true. Let's talk about the rules of money. There's 3 principles or 3 rules of money that I was never taught about. And most of my clients that I meet with have never heard about this either. What if you were to play a game and you don't know the rules? What are the chances are that you're going to win? What if you're playing a game against an opponent and the opponent knows the rules and you don't? What are the chances are you're going to win? We need to start learning the rules of money. One of these rules is called the rule of 72. And this is called the law of compound interest. Where's the first place that we're taught to put our money? We get our paycheck. Where do we take it? We deposit it in the bank. All right. What kind of interest do the banks give us? Nothing, just about non-existent. We can say 1%. Why don't we be nice and say you put your money into a CD and we're getting 4%? So if you look at the 4%, how would I know how my money's going to compound? You take the interest rate 4, divide that into 72, 4 goes into 72 18 times, your money would double every 18 years. So as a 29-year-old, I deposit 10,000, 18 years later, my money is 20, and 18 years later at 65, my money is 40. Can you retire on 40 grand? Can you retire at 65? Is retirement no longer an age, but it's now a pile of money because we're not getting pensions anymore? You have to save. I love what we teach. We're one of the few sales, quote unquote, presentations that's teaching you to keep your money, save it, and invest it for yourself rather than to buy products that you don't need, stock them up. And then when these circumstances hit, we wish we didn't do that. We're one of the few companies showing you how to make money. Most companies will take your money and you don't get your money back, or they'll give you change. We take your money and give you more than what you gave us. Right? So this right here, 65. Now, what does the bank do? I used to ask my mom all the time, but she didn't know. The banks don't let your money collect dust in the vault. The banks invest your money. The banks lend it out. Credit cards, home loans, car loans. They can get significant rates of return. Right? What's the average interest rate on a credit card? Let's just say 12. That's conservative. 12 goes into 72 6 times. Same deposit, but because I wasn't taught anything, I put it at 4%, or even worse, 1%. The banks turn it around, put it around 12, 18, 20+%. What do they end up with at 65? 640,000. What did I end up with? 40,000. They cut me the difference. No wonder they didn't want me to know, because they just made my money. So what we show folks how to do, we show them how to go from putting their money into the bank to putting the money where the banks put it. I'm not the smartest person, but I have a lot of common sense. And when I came, I didn't understand much, but I knew I wanted to learn more. If I can have the next slide. If we work hard for our money, wouldn't it make sense that our money works hard for us? How does money grow? A lot of us don't know. A lot of us think we only have one option. We get our retirement plans from our job. They're the ones, and jobs don't have, I'll just be honest, they don't have long-term plans for employees. So, but if our long-term plan is a retirement plan and we had it set up with our job, we're not setting it up at the right place. We need to have a customized plan. And it's almost like, in a way, it's like herd retirement planning. We don't know what your goals are, 401k. We don't know what you're going in the stock market. What is your risk profile? You're going in the stock market. And everybody goes into the same thing. And when these situations hit and people lose their money, they're stressed out because they don't have the education. Money is a huge deal. We believe in literacy and education because the number one cause of divorce is money. And it's not that they have too much of it. It's that if you take finances out of married couples' conversations, they almost have nothing to talk about. Because we don't understand this. We get stressed out, fixed. You don't make any money, you don't lose any money. A lot of us thinks that's safe, but if the cost of living goes up and my money is not growing, I'm losing money on a daily basis. How about variable? My 401k turns into a 201k. I invest my money. I don't even want to open the envelope when these situations hit because I already know I lost money. You can lose massive amounts of money in a week. And people, I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying that's bad for you. We don't know your situation, but to have all your eggs in one basket can probably be, you can end up in dire circumstances. How about index? How about when the market goes up, your money goes up because it's linked to an index. It mirrors an index. But when the market crashes, you never lose. And when the market goes back up, your money goes up. And when the market crashes, you lock in the next watermark. Has anybody ever taught you about that? Or so when a situation like what just happened occurs, all of our clients kept their money. I had to call and reassure all of our clients, you're not losing anything. Let me ask you a question. How would you like your money to grow? If I can have the next slide. Now, it's not what you make is what you get to keep is what, let's be honest. Because how your money gets taxed is very important. We all know what it's like when we got a paycheck, we got gross paycheck, and then we have net paycheck, right? Gross is gross, right? It's called take-home pay. I always used to wonder, why would they call it take-home pay? Because after you get home, it's already spent. There's nowhere else you can go with it. That's pretty much why, right? I mean, government takes your money before you even take it. Can I get some advantage before you even see it? Can I get some advantages in my money? Now, there's 3 ways to register your money. There's tax now, tax later, and tax advantage. To keep it simple, Tax never. If you structure this properly, if you come to somebody who knows what they're doing and you don't just do it on the internet, because we've been studying this for a while, we can structure something that when you access the money and when you need it the most, in hard circumstances, in tough times, in retirement, etc., you get the money out tax-free. Tax now. These are savings accounts, bank CDs. The majority of us put money in here for the long term and we pay taxes every single year. How about tax later? The majority of us have money that when we put our money into our retirement plan, like a 401k, a 403b, we have to pay taxes later. With the stimulus package that just came out, with the trillions and trillions of dollars our country's in debt, with the bailouts, the healthcare crisis, everything that's going on and is going to go on. Let me ask you a question. Do you think taxes are going to be lower or higher? The social security crisis, which would make it a so-so security crisis because you can't really depend on it anymore. Do you think taxes are going to be lower or higher? So you mean to tell me I'm putting my money into an account where I pay taxes later when I'm thinking they're going to be higher and we all know it's going to be higher? How can I get some advantages? We can talk about that. We don't have the time, but there's some ways where we can show you what our options are, your options are. We have licenses in all these different areas, and I recommend we diversify and we put money in different places. Again, not all of our eggs in one basket. But the IQ test I normally ask is this, and most of my clients say tax advantage or tax never. If I can have the next slide. Now, if you were to drive from here to New York, you're going to need some kind of GPS. You're going to need Google Maps. Back in my day when I was coming up, we had we were men, me and my dad, and we never asked for directions. But if you don't have directions, if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a roadmap and a guide to get to your destination, what can happen? You can waste a whole lot of time. You can waste a whole lot of money, or you may never get to your destination. Now, retirement is a journey. Retirement doesn't happen overnight. Building up that pile of money doesn't happen overnight. Okay. So if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a coach, if you don't have a roadmap, if you don't have a financial GPS, you can waste a whole lot of time, a whole lot of money, and never get to where you want to go. Our company, in a way, is literally like a digital financial GPS, so that you can have confidence that you know you're going to get to where you want to get to, so you can worry less and begin to enjoy life more. If you think about it, how much of our stress comes from worrying about financial situations? We can put together a plan where you don't have to worry about that. We can help you increase your cash flow. I'm going to share with you that. That's my favorite part. We can help with you with college planning. They get kids in debt before they even start the workforce. Now they're obligated to work to pay that debt. Student loans is the only debt you can't get rid of with bankruptcy, right? And so they're getting college kids in before they even start. They got them right away, right? We got to start helping people plan for that. Emergency funds. When something happens, not if, when, what about when the next situation occurs? Are we prepared for it? Do we got 3 to 6 months worth of income saved, or are we out of luck? Proper protection. I ask people, if you had a money machine on the breadwinner of this family, would you protect this machine? Because as a father and as a husband, I'm a breadwinner. We run our company together, but we're breadwinners. We're actually money machines. If we pass away, other than being in our business, which I'll share with you in a minute, the buck stops there. So we have to find some kind of way to protect this money machine. If you would do it to a physical machine, we got to do it to a physical person, and we can talk about that. Number 5, build wealth. Long-term wealth, long-term asset accumulation, not living off credit cards, not thinking for the weekend, thinking about the future, because the future comes and we don't want to get caught off guard. And then number 6, preserve. Let's plan to pass this to the next generation. Let's plan to not let the IRS get their hands on it. Let attorneys and go into probate and everybody gets their hand on it. Let's do this the way the wealthy people do. You mean to tell me this kind of guidance is available for a mechanic like me, a 24-year-old like me? One of the reasons I'm loyal to this company is because I only had $150 a month to start saving. And if you've heard of the big, large financial institutions, they don't target us if we don't have a lot of money. This is the only company that said, I will turn you from a small saver to a big saver if you're willing to learn and you develop the right habits. Let me ask you a question. Of all of these 6 steps, which, if not all, are the... And we can talk about that if I can have the next slide. Let's talk here about our opportunity. Let's talk about, there's the group of people, 78 million people born between 1946 and 1964. These people were coined the baby boomers. And any company, any industry who could anticipate or service the needs of these boomers became profitable because of supply and demand, as we learned in economics. 78 million babies. You already heard of a company called Gerber. Go to Toys, Play School, Fisher Price, Hasbro, Mattel. Fast food, you've probably seen the movie The Founder. And you just seen the way the whole fast food franchising system worked, and we work very similar to that. What about cars, muscle cars, classic cars, when, you know, Motown, when all that, and the good music back in those days, and everybody hanging out, you know, if you see to this day, if you ever see a classic muscle car restored to the original dimensions, it's generally a baby boomer reliving their youth. When I drive my classic cars, I always get stories from back in the day. This is absolutely true. These industries dominated the marketplace. Y'all understood real estate just made a killing, right? Well, where are we at now? Where are the baby boomers as we look through time? Out of every 7 seconds, somebody turns age 65 years old, which the significance is that is they need to be thinking about retirement. So we have found ourselves in a tidal wave of wealth. We are in the biggest wealth transfer of world history. And this is going to be the baby boomers. And then we got the millennials and generation X and Y and everybody following suit. And we have to start to learn. It's possible that this generation here can change the trajectory if you're in the right place at the right time. But why would I say it's the right time? Because people are struggling, record levels of unemployment right now. Everybody needs a home-based business. It's my passion this year to give everybody, see, we have our own stimulus package. If I can get the next slide here. I don't know what the stimulus package did for a lot of people, but we're here to offer you a WFG Pinnacle Alpha stimulus package. My goal is to give 1,000 families this year the benefit of a home-based business, so that if anything happens in the future, they're prepared for it. I can't guarantee how much money you're going to save, how much money you're going to make, but I think everybody needs a spare tire for their income. I fell in love with this because I started having success, because I started realizing everybody needed this, and we have the best platform in the world. No employees, none of that payroll, none of that stress, no inventory, no workers' comp. No pay, I just said that, no overhead, no cold calling, no flyers on doorsteps, no boss. You know, a lot of people, I haven't called anybody boss as long as I can remember, you know, and neither has my wife. She doesn't even call me boss. I wouldn't want her calling another man boss, you know. No quotas, no discrimination, no liabilities, no experience necessary. A 24-year-old mechanic, you'll coach me? I never knew how to play baseball, but I got better at that. I never knew how to play basketball, but I can take you to the hole. You know, no glass ceiling. You mean my wife can come in here and dominate and show the ladies how they can go dominate at the highest levels of American business? No HR department, no theft. We don't have any inventory to spoil. We just have financial. It's all electronic now. COVID, believe it or not, I don't even know how to say this, has exploded our business. There is no shrimp. Nobody can steal it, give it to their high school friends at my restaurant. There isn't. We have massive profit margins, no set schedule. Because I like freedom. I came here to be free. No lease to sign, no territorial limits. You can build this thing. We want to go over all 50 states and all the provinces in Canada. We want to take over Puerto Rico. We got to go help more people. You get paid twice a week, residual income. The list goes on. I'm so fired up about this. As I'm reading this, I am so glad Eric invited me, my childhood friend invited me to a meeting like this. It was about an hour and a half. We're going to keep it brief. But there's more success now than ever before. If I could have the next slide. We're the best platform in business. How do we get paid? Let's say you help somebody save $200 a month. Anybody know anybody that needs to save money? Anybody know anybody that would benefit from saving money? Anybody know anybody who's probably thinking about they wish they had started saving money when a situation occurred, not if, but when it occurs again? Absolutely. I'm just saying $200 a month. I had somebody tell me one time, I don't have $200 a month. I said, can you save $6.50 a day? And he said, anybody can do that. And I said, well, if you do the math, that's $200 a month. So however you got to slice it, let's start saving some money, right? And he was like, man, you're right. Because that $6.50, you already spend it at Starbucks. Howard Schultz is doing fine. Howard Schultz already expanded his company. So how do we get paid? There's a difference between working for yourself and owning a business. Let me share with you that and how we apply that principle, which is the reality of business here in our company. Let's say you're an associate. This is entry level. You see that in the middle. You help 4 families a month. You just help you set up 4 accounts in a month, which is 1 a week, save $200 a month. Like me, it was only 150. We'll help them too. But I'm just giving an average number here. I'm hailing from the Silicon Valley, California. And right now we're finding people are really thinking about saving money. People are thinking about life insurance. Ever since Kobe passed away, and ever since there was an infectious virus running around, people are thinking about life insurance. People are thinking about protect folks. You just do 4. What if I can't do 4? Well, then you do 1. We can't set a goal of less than 1 because then that's 0 and we wouldn't be coaches. But if you can get to where you understand how to explain this per account, you'd make $1,000. So you would make total that month $4 grand or $50 grand a year. This is you working for yourself. You can work from home. You can go make that money in your living room. You can go make that money in a home office. We have proven that since we went on quarantine and lockdown here in California and all over the United States. Everything is now virtual and we can run it that way. I believe if you're fortunate enough, you still got your job currently, however you want to, look at that. Why not let that fund your bills and let us, our company, fund your retirement? How would your retirement look if all you did was make $4,000 in here and then put it away? How would your kids' college fund education look? What if you get promoted? The same 4,300, now you become an SMD, you now make 7,600. But you're still working for yourself until you build a team. Once you start to build a team, once you have people working in addition to you, you can now multiply your efforts. If I'm on an hourly wage, I will never make what I'm worth. If I'm on a salary, I'll never make what I'm worth because somebody else determines what I'm worth, right? But what if I get to build a business? What if McDonald's only had one location? They would not be as profitable as they are. What if Starbucks was still in Seattle? They would never be as profitable as they are. What if Paul Hart was still only here in San Jose, California? We would not be as profitable as we are. Why? Because we don't have enough. I'm not good enough to do it all myself. So what if you're an SMD and you got 5 people on your team? Like Burger King thinks that way, Jiffy Lube thinks that way, Macy's thinks that way, Hilton Hotels think that way. Business is like war. The bigger I am, the more successful I can become. And then you have a business. The true testament of a business is, can you walk away and you're gone for a month, you come back, made the same amount of money you made last month, because it's not dependent on you. Hence the difference between working for yourself and owning a business. What if you had a 5-person team that were trained to do 4 accounts a month? You're making 24 grand. What if you had 10? What if you had 50? What if you had people that had 401ks? They wanted us to protect and preserve them and stop the bleeding, because everything's unpredictable right now. We can help them. You see on the bottom, the average income levels from the different promotions. What's the difference? Why is there an average and then there's some of the people that are doing way better than that? Because somebody wakes up earlier. Business, our company, there are no politics. If you wake up earlier, you go to sleep later, you're disciplined, you're focused, the same thing I teach my son about in sports, then you're going to have more success. I used to start when I would work harder at practice. When I slacked off in practice, I'm substituting, I'm warming the bench. Here, you don't get fired, but your income rides the bench. And that's the difference. But what if I'm put on an hourly wage? Somebody else determines my income. What if I'm put on a salary? Somebody else determines my income. That means I couldn't have just come home right now from my second home over there by the beach. So I wouldn't be able to have that, because as a mechanic, when I still love working on cars, I'll work on my own, but as a mechanic, I would never be able to live like that. There's so many people on this call or watching this. You got a gift inside of you. You just don't have the vehicle to let that flourish. You don't have the canvas to paint that masterpiece of your life. I'm not offering a guarantee here. I'm just offering a chance. There was no guarantee. And that's what I liked. If I'm willing to slug it out and get up one more time and I get knocked down, I deserve to be successful. I deserve to finally buy a car like the beautiful ones I used to work on that I wouldn't be able to afford. Is that too much to ask? Is it too much to ask to have a couple of years worth of money saved so you're not stressed out if you lose your income or lose your job? Is it too much to ask that if I work for 30 or 40 years, I got a comfortable retirement and I keep my family safe? I give my family the best foods because they cost more than everything else. We stay in the nice neighborhoods. I give my kids the best education because it costs more than everybody else. We have the best health care because it costs more than everything else. Is it too much to ask? No. Seems like it's becoming too much to ask. We need to take back America, set the captives free, simply because we can't let folks control us. And I hope these circumstances are waking us up. Man, I could have done better, but I'm so glad that I was invited. I did not know this situation was coming, but I knew something was coming. A mentor of mine, Rich, says, get a bigger boat. You have no idea when the flood's coming. Get a little excited about this. Let's get to the next slide, and I'm gonna wind down here. These are some of my brothers and sisters in business. That's my beautiful wife. Let's be honest. I'm just a talking head right now, but I would not be anywhere close to where I'm at without the brains behind the operation. I just consider myself the mascot, and I'm sure a lot of the men would understand that as well. I just know how to fire people up. I know how to talk about what I believe in. I don't really talk like this about stuff that I don't believe in. So I hope you see that we believe in what we're talking about. I got my daughter in the business. She's licensed. We built a family company, and these are a lot of folks here, all different shades, all different walks of life, all different nationalities, all different dialects, different ways they do things. But guess what? One thing is common. They all want bigger and better for their family. If there's one lap around this planet, I want more. and they all want more. I hope somebody on this call is resonating with what I'm saying, because we can give you more. Let's go to the next slide. What if you were making 24,000 a month? What if you were making 50,000 a month? When we first started making that kind of money, we kept our lifestyle and we started saving it all. What about recognition? Anybody ever go to work early, leave late, nobody noticed, but as soon as you made a mistake, they knew what your first name was? They got you on first name recognition, right? So everybody knows who you are. We're only told what we do wrong. Who edifies us when we do right? A coach. A coach. A lot of us haven't had a coach. We're just business coaches. I'm not a boss. I'm not a manager. I'm a coach. And if you like that kind of talk, we can get into, we can have some fun. We got a scoreboard in our company. We have a blast. We compete. The difference is when we compete here, we all win. There's more than enough to go around. You get the rings and the watches and all that. Not that you have to like that flashy stuff. I used to want to win a World Series myself playing baseball. Never got a chance to do it. So sometimes I say it says World Financial Group. I tell people it says World Series. I'm just kidding. Look at all these beautiful folks. We're on stage at the National Convention. This is the guy, the gentleman in the middle, not Warren Buffett, but the next Warren Buffett to the right of him. My mom used to babysit him. He was the one that changed my life. I thought I was doing him a favor. How arrogant was it of me to think I'm doing him a favor for coming to an hour-and-a-half meeting? Now we can send this out to folks just so they can hear this. If this makes sense to anybody, send it to them. We can have the next slide and we'll wind down here. Look, this is where our company's at, 42,000 licensed agents. We've helped 4.2 million people out of 330 million, and babies are being born every day. We haven't helped anybody yet. We're still a baby, right? Between 2001, we have 94 people in our company that make $1 million or more in income annually. No companies have that. We're in the largest, most lucrative industry in the world at a time where the supply is at an all-time low and the demand is at an all-time high, and we are blowing up. This is like the .com right when the internet started. This is what I call the WFG financial industry gold rush. This is like what the 49ers did in California. I mean, I'm not having any excuses. We're getting all we can. 77 product providers, so it's not just one. We paid out $845 million in commission, not to the executives, to us, a 24-year-old college student mechanic. They paid that out to people like me, because I learned and got better and got up one more time than I got knocked down. If I can have the next slide. So what would you like? Option one, complimentary financial strategy. We can help you out. Take a look at where you're at. Ask who you know. And if you give us referrals, why not join number two, a revenue sharing program where we can actually compensate you for the referrals that you give us. We can give you a thank you card. We can give you an Amazon card, or we can actually split you on the commission. And we have a lot of professionals doing that. We have a lot of part-time people. We have some folks that lost their jobs that are doing that while they're learning. Or option number three, I want to learn how to do this myself. Start part-time, learn this thing part-time. Or number four, do what I did. I'm not that good. I got to surround myself. I only speak English. I want to help all different demographics, different markets. I got to start to train and develop other people because I'm not that good. And then you could be doing the presentation like me. Knowledge is not power unless it's applied, folks. I heard a long time people say that. Knowledge is power. We know a whole lot of stuff. And I know a whole lot of people that know a whole lot of stuff that don't do anything with it. Therefore, it lies dormant. We just gave you the key. Here's the ignition, but you got to put it in. So Martin Luther King says most people die at the age of 21. I never understood this, but they don't get put into the ground until they're in their 70s. Man, I just turned 40. I'm going on 41. How fast does time fly, right? I understand what he means now. Our dreams die. That gift, that inspiration. I heard enthusiasm inside. It means God from within. When you got a dream, when you got a vision, and you're happy about something, you got something you can go chase. That's, if my opinion, and I'm not here to preach, that's a gift from God to make you feel that way. But that light gets put out. The world conditions us to think small. Hopefully this woke up that person that existed a long time ago when you knew you can go do it, when you knew that you can accomplish anything you wanted to. Again, no guarantees, but I'm going to pass it back to Arlene, but this is a chance. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. We appreciate you, and I hope everybody stays safe, and we're going to get through this together.
Thank you so much, Paul. That was such great information. As I was listening to him, I was ready to get started in my business all over again. And, people die with regrets all the time. And one thing that I am so thankful for is that when I first heard this information, I was able to jump on board and guys, 4 ways that we can help, whether it's yourself, a friend, or a family member that might benefit from this information. And what we would like you to do is get together with the person that invited you and talk about which one of those might be a best fit for you. I truly believe that everybody on the call can benefit from at least number 1, which is a complimentary financial needs analysis. But with everything that's going on in the world right now, and like Paul mentioned, with so many people getting laid off and the uncertainty financially, everybody needs a spare type of income, and that's where 2 through 4 come into place. So thank you so much for your time. Get with the person that invited you, and have a great evening for everyone, okay? Thank you so much. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Welcome to the good.